question is, I know you mentioned before, like, you growing up, and Paul's talked about this, and I think most black men have the experience of, growing up, your fathers were like, toughen up, like, you gotta be gangster, crying is soft, and da-da-da-da-da. So what do you do differently with your kids now to not put that on them? Because I know that's hard, like being vulnerable and being open. I feel like men need to allow that, space for them to express themselves in that way. And I know Paul spoke on that before, like, and you have sons. What do you do?
With my kids, like, I just ask a bunch of whys. Like, I don't even tell them stop crying or shut up. I'm just like, what's the problem? You feel what I'm saying? Because like, I'm a super like solution-based person. So it's like, whatever it is that's bothering you, we could talk about it. And I believe in manning up and toughening up and facing your fears, but you gotta identify those fears before you could face them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I'm super in tune with my emotions, and I try to like pass that on to my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because just me growing up and generate like my father and his father. Like my dad was raised. My grandfather was like, he was in the military, so he was super like stern for sure. Like, and my dad was super strict on me. You feel me? Like, when I was growing up, I don't even think I cried in front of my dad for real. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
out of fear or?
Yeah, just like just out of fear and just like out of already being able to just suck up my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never let him see me that vulnerable, even as a kid, for real. Like, I never cried to my dad or anything like that. Like, I promise. And when I'm thinking about it, it's really fucking me up for real, because it's like, damn, my dad probably never seen me cry when I was a kid. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he did when I was older, like when I lost my grandmother and lost my little brother and stuff like that. But like with my son, like, it went super viral when I took him on a Casanat stream, and like we was talking and something, he was just like, I don't know, he just broke down crying. Like, you feel me? He was, it was like, it was one of them super emotional beats. Like, I don't know, like Cav was doing something where he's like, say a motivational quote or something. I did it, and then they told your son to do it, and he did it. And he was talking about like family and stuff like that, and it just made him get super emotional. But I know, like, me knowing my son, I understand why he was crying, because he's super, like, my son is very, very family oriented. You know what I'm saying? Like, he asks questions like about like why I live in LA and his mama live here, and you know what I'm saying, like why he don't grow up in a 2-parent household and stuff like that. He always asks those kind of questions, and I'll be completely honest with him, and his mom is too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with me, especially with my kids and like their emotions and crying and stuff like that, I always just ask why and what's the problem, and I tell them it's okay to cry. You feel what I'm saying? Because when I learned about like mental health and stuff like that, like I got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder when I was like 19, 20 years old or something. No, I might have been, matter of fact, I was like 22 or something like that, you feel me? But I've been suffering from it since I was probably my son's age. I seen my first murder when I was 9 years old. Like, I got shot when I was 16 years old. I was in the streets. Like, I've been through a lot, you feel me? So me being in tune with my emotions and understanding how it made me the man I am, but it kind of stunted my growth, because I felt like certain things was just like, all right, you just take it on the chin. It is what it is, And the more you grow up and experience life, it's like you don't even know how to communicate what's wrong with you. You don't know how to communicate your feelings. You don't know how to control your anger. You don't know how to do any of that. And I done crashed out numerous times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want my son to have to do that. And the objective of being a father is to make sure that your kids are better than you. Like, I feel like my dad did a great job in making sure I was a better version of him. So I gotta do the same thing with my kids. So like, to answer that question, when it comes to like them crying and stuff like that, I never once told my kids like, shut up, you being soft, or toughen up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my youngest, he's a super crybaby. He cry over everything, but he's tough. He's 10 times tougher than I was when I was that age. He's much tougher than your son at that age. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I got to figure out a way for him to be able to channel his emotions, because I don't want him to think it's okay to like fight or glad, any of that, And I see that, and those are my characteristics. Like, he got my traits in him already, you know what I'm saying, as a 4-year-old. So for me, it's just like I said, bro, just being patient with him, like trying to see what's wrong, what's the problem, and trying to come up with the solution, like whatever it is. Like, I I never tell my kids that they soft for crying, cause me, I'm 29 years old and I still cry. Sometimes I like just blank out crying. Sometimes like bust out crying. I'm sorry, like, and it's I can't control it because there's so many things that I've been through, and I've cried in public, all types of places. You feel what I'm saying? It don't take away from my masculinity and who I am as a man. You know what I'm saying? But I just want my kids to be able to be in tune with their emotions at that age, so by the time they get my age, they can control them, you know.